If it's about personnel and salaries, we can go into executive session for that. That's the second part of it?
That's the second part, yeah. The first part, I just felt we should come and discuss about these changes that are coming about that the state are implementing on us. We went to a training 2 weeks ago.
Terrible.
It was, the state is less prepared than we are for this. We spent several hours sitting in a conference room and they were going over all these changes, and I really got the impression that the people who were giving this course were the people involved in writing this legislation, because they were really pro-legislation. And they could explain it great. They couldn't answer any questions. We were sitting in a room with, I don't know, 150 people, and they probably, if they threw out 100 questions, the board didn't answer 95% of them. All they kept saying is, well, we don't know that yet. You know, they're waiting on the Court of Appeals, things being appealed and things playing out in the courtrooms, rather than doing the studies for what's gonna happen. They're less prepared than the courts are. I honestly believe that.
And we're not prepared though.
And we're not prepared.
So that's the
So how will that come about come January 1st when it's supposed to come into effect?
Well, there's this, I thought it would be done by now, but they're still not, they haven't updated the programs yet. Our computer programs where we enter the information. The state is going to try to handle the notification part of it themselves. You know how they haven't followed any of it. They have to be notified 7 days in advance, 3 days in advance, and 24 hours before. The state is contracting with 2 private contractors in the state that are gonna try to do this.
for over
can't-
1,100 courts.
Yeah, there's
it's not
1,160
gonna work.
some town and villages courts north of New York City. And these 2 companies, I can't imagine how that's gonna work for them. So I think everybody's expecting a miserable fail on that. Would be nice if it would work. I don't think it can. I mean, I know how busy we are just for a little court,
Right.
and there's courts that are 10 times busier than we are. So I don't know how they're gonna do it.
They've notified us, Drew.
Well,
I don't think
they're,
it's true. The revenue that the state's.
Well, that's where I think it's gonna catch up to them, is they're not gonna realize it till the money stops coming in. Cause it's gonna be a chasing process now to chase down fine money, and,
That could go years.
it could drag on.
well,
It
even-
does now, this is
even now,
only gonna make it
it's
worse.
years.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, I mean.
It's terrible. I mean, we just got an email on Monday, and for the courts that don't check their email on a very regular basis, they lost out. Monday morning, Chris and I will be in our little court office for a live Skype training. 8 days before the changeover, they're gonna try to do some more training. But out of over 1,100 courts, they offered it to the first 250 people that responded. So of course I was all over it, because we'll do it on my Skype, so we won't take up, 2 spots on the live feed. But what are going to happen to the rest of the people?
Personally, I'm not
I'm
not concerned about the other courts.
No, so
I'm
we
worried
were.
a lot for us, cause I think it's just gonna pile up. What's gonna cause is a very backlogging of the court system. Cause you no longer you can't say to somebody, pay your fines, you're going to jail. Can't do that anymore.
And there's no repercussion if you don't show.
What's the repercussion if you don't pay your fine?
Well, they have to be notified like 3 or however many times before you can actually issue a warrant for them to bring them back to court.
What's the warrant gonna do?
The warrant does nothing because you can't send them to jail.
No,
Right.
So
I mean,
I don't know.
no bail.
right. I mean, because you figure if you can burglarize a
Well,
home and you're issued an appearance ticket and you get to leave,
Depending on
what's the
what
repercussion
level
really
of the
for not
burglary.
paying your money?
there are qualifying
Right.
charges.
Right. Yeah.
A lot less qualified than should.
Right.
So
I
it's not gonna
So you're
be
saying them rules have changed too?
what rules.
unless it's supposed to be saying it's a real felony.
No, well, yeah, most felonies you can still get bail on, and some misdemeanors, but they have to be
Violent.
Violent.
the violent felonies.
So somebody, I think, if I remember, I read something where somebody can steal like $1,500 a day or something like that, or just get an appearance ticket.
I don't know the levels of those offenses, it depends on the charge, what they're charged with.
And
And
then,
I
of
honestly
course,
don't remember what they have to do to get to each level, but.
and they can, your home can be burglarized, and then throughout the court process, the defendant gets to
They get to
come,
petition
they
the
get to
court
come back to your home,
to go back into the house.
to the crime scene.
So the defense attorney and the defense team can get their own photographs and their own process and re-victimize the people all over again.
Right,
Um,
so it's,
Not good.
it isn't, you know, and they did announce, you know, out of over these 1,100 courts, what are they figuring, a third of the judges are going to resign after January 1st.
that's what they're expecting.
They're expecting that.
In protest. In a sort of protest.
Nope,
No.
'Cause they don't.
most of the judges, as you know, you went to the training.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are older gentlemen. They're in their 60s and 70s, 80s in some cases. This is going to overwhelm them to no end.
Mm-hmm.
So they're expecting a third of the judges to resign
Wow.
and the clerks.
It becomes, essentially, it's become a full-time position.
Could possibly more her than mine, because it's really going to create more work for the clerks than it will for me, for the judges.
They're
It's gonna create more
anticipating
work for me
triple,
too, but
you know, they're figuring a minimum to triple my work.
Your workload. Wow.
And you're on 2 courts.
Well, Piercefield is, well, Clint
Yeah.
can tell you, it's not very busy. I say that, and I probably will eat those words, because it has actually, oddly enough, been, but, and that's gonna be interesting, because it's a new judge coming on January 1st, that just came out of the training, and he's not quite sure what he was thinking, but he's gonna give it a go.
Mhm.
Uh,
it's not going to be easy.
None of it is going to be easy.
The one saving grace is that the very few midnight arraignments anymore.
You know?
I'm all
Knock
for
on
that.
wood for you, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, if there is one, it's something super serious.
Yeah.
But it's got everybody very concerned.
There's actually nothing we can do here. I mean, I know the legislature's looking at some amendments to the, to the law, but,
But they're not getting any attention. They're trying to, but they're not getting
well,
any
there won't be
attention.
anything, you can't, they're not sworn in until
Till
a couple
January.
of days.
Oh.
So, what is that gonna, so, what do you think that's gonna, require of us?
At this stage of the game,
You don't know.
That's the scary part. Is
nothing,
we're kind of
today.
going blind.
but everybody's going blind.
Mhm.
You know, nobody's gonna know what's gonna happen until it starts happening. I was very taken back by their response to some of the questions. Well, we'll see how things play out in court. Well, shouldn't you have thought about that before you enacted these things?
Yeah.
We'll see what the Court of Appeals has to say.
You know, with no game plan and the anticipation of an increased crime rate due to all of this, it's, nothing good is coming out of it. Nothing.
Well, what's gonna happen is law-abiding citizens are gonna become
I said
criminals.
that. I
Because
absolutely said the
they're
same
gonna
thing.
take matters into their own hands. Somebody comes in their house
Yep.
and they've had enough. And you're only gonna be victimized so much
No,
before you're gonna fight. And that's just the bottom line.
right.
And that's what's gonna end up happening.
Let's hope that.
I hope it
Doesn't
doesn't,
happen.
I hope it doesn't, but, you know, we discussed this, months ago. I brought it up in a public meeting, cause I was reading a lot about it, and it's, nothing good that's gonna come of this law.
No.
It's, I think people started off with good intentions and quickly turned it into, a circus.
They took it way too far.
Yeah.
Further than, I understand what they were trying to do, but
Right. You know, at this point in our, you know, we have bail to return. We don't have anybody held at Franklin County Jail from our court right now, that we have to release. So, I mean, it's one process that we're a little bit relieved on because it is, again, it will be a process hauling everybody back up and, but, you know, we're already looking at returning all our funds, to the defendants. So,
So even if after the third time and you issue a warrant, you can't place them in jail, and you can't demand bail, what happened, I mean, so what's the purpose of the warrant? What do we do?
To bring him
to
in to
court?
say, you need to start paying your fines?
And they say, no, you can't lien them or anything.
right,
Can the court put a
At
lien
this
on
point, no.
them? No.
They scoff their license?
Yeah, well, if it's vehicle and traffic,
If it's
that,
vehicle and
Only if
traffic.
it's vehicle and
That's
traffic, not
totally
for a
different.
civilian.
that's,
Oh,
Nothing
vehicle and
criminal.
traffic will be handled the same way it always was, so that's really not gonna change.
Okay.
So
so
We
you're
can
looking
still
for a-
scoff licenses.
yeah, no, oh, trust me, we,
Like disorderly and criminal mischief, or some of these, whatever.
Right.
They're supposed to pay
Petty
resti-
larceny,
they're supposed
you
to
know,
pay
and-
restitution.
Anything that's not a violent felony.
You're not getting
so.
It's gonna backlog
Discouraging.
the courts. It is.
It's very discouraging, and we'll have to look at, you know, again, it's gonna be trial and error, we'll see, because everybody that's issued appearance tickets have to be arraigned when they come to court. So we may end up having to maybe start court earlier, you know, we may need David Hayes as, you know, our district attorney more frequently, because of, you know, this discovery stuff and all the timelines.
20-day, they have to be returned, all the appearance tickets that are written have to be returnable within 20 days.
So no more, you know,
So,
our
and
once a
then
month
there's time
VA
restraints on everything,
Right,
especially on the discovery
it's
stuff.
14 days, right, for
It's
discovery?
14 days for discovery.
a
Don't know how that's gonna work out with drug labs and anything that gets sent to the lab.
Well, they're processing stuff in the hallways right now. They don't even have the
district attorney's
room.
concerned about it too.
He is.
Isn't it district attorney moving over to Serengeti?
He is.
So now we're gonna be paying a police officer to run stuff over, or we're gonna look at hiring an administrative person that's gonna run over the deals all the time and dump off paperwork that's not.
Well, your saving grace is the secretary lives here in town.
Right, and
She's
she
got
can
it. She's
transport
got it,
because
right.
like we're gonna be in the
To
same
work every
boat.
day.
That's actually,
You know, having to
So,
get stuff back and
As far as that goes,
we're okay.
I think we're okay there, but
And
God
then,
only knows Debbie's not a driver,
Right,
and for her to drive, like to come home on a day like today,
not too good.
is not good for Debbie.
Oh, it's a lot to ask of her,
It is.
you know? She-
Yeah.
So, but she's gonna give it her best and see how it works out.
Yeah, so, I don't know, and they're gonna do a lot, they're gonna try to do a lot of, David is gonna try a lot of paperless.
Mhm.
So we've worked with Mary and Kyle, we made sure, you know, we have
Computer system.
Wi-Fi available, you know, because they'll come in with laptops
That's how they're gonna do most of their stuff.
and
now.
that's how, you know, we're gonna try to do that. And then anything that we need, you know, court administration will send somebody, a tech up to, you know, update any of our stuff or, you know.
But we're getting close and they haven't updated anything yet.
Yeah, there's nothing changed on the computer. I keep opening it up, waiting for like, voila, here's something new. Nothing. So we don't even know how to use it when it comes. And the topic for our Skype training is called, it has nothing to do with the computer, I don't believe. It's called, training on operational impact on town and village courts of the criminal justice legislation effective January 1st. So we don't even know. They're gonna allow us a question and answer time, so we can ask questions and, you know, my guess is everybody's gonna have the same questions, so hopefully it'll be a little more informative than the last training. We're used to, and Clint, you know, you've been, when we do our Potsdam training, they are right to the minute. I mean, they are organized and, you know, your break is 3.5 minutes, you know, and then they're, and this was dreadful. So, not anything we expected. We expected to come back with a ton of information and
You came back with
knowledge.
more questions?
Came back discouraged, is what it was. It is discouraging.
New York State's full of great ideas. No one knows how to implement them.
Aren't you lucky, Clint?
So, I'll do my best
Lucky's
at
out.
keeping you guys up to
Okay.
snuff on anything that we get. I'll make sure you guys know, and
Okay, and do we need tonight to discuss changes in positions or anything? Did you wanna do that?
I don't think so at this time, because I think that would be just jumping the gun. If on the Strange, I don't think it's gonna happen, but it does work. Things can slide the way they are.
We'll wait and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay?
Yeah, I think that's,
Question?
I'll certainly
Keep us,
try to, we're gonna see if we can make it work with, the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'll adjust some other stuff on my other end and to kind of flex some more hours, but, if that doesn't work, well, we'll have to talk about it.
We'll take care of it. Just,
It's, we all know what's gonna happen, somebody's gonna drop the ball. It's gonna be a total learning
it's gonna
curve,
be
when
a
you,
bad process.
when you
for a
think you
while.
know your job and
mm-hmm.
now you don't know
And scramble it all up.
what is happening, little scary.
What do you put in for hours right now?
Anywhere from, say, I don't know, maybe say 12 to 20. It fluctuates, it varies.
Sounds like a sentence.
It sometimes feels like a sentence, but it depends on what's going on, and how busy. When our DA night is
Right.
80-something people, that following week I'm up to here, and for a couple of weeks to follow. It just, and that's how we'll be anxious to see. Some nights when it's 8:30 and we're just getting done court 9 o'clock. We'll be lucky if we're out some nights probably at 10. It's just gonna be long and drawn out until we figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, a while back, I think there was there really wasn't a limit on my hours, but I tried to keep it, at a minimum, without it affecting, of course, the quality.
Definitely gonna be more time consuming, one way or the other, it's gonna be more time consuming for the both of us to be here.
Gonna turn into a full-time position. It's like the
If-
police
if-
department's gonna need an.
If what the state is trying to do doesn't work out, then I believe, yes, it would turn into a full-time position.
I think we'll know fairly quick.
Yep.
I think by the end of January, we're gonna have a good idea. If you see us all leave and never come back, well, you'll know it didn't go well. So, but, we'll,
I think you're gonna see some language drafted in January to amend this a little bit,
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Anything else? Well, thank you, Judge and Bridget, for coming and briefing us up on
Absolutely.
this. Questions, any members?
I wish we'd had more information for you, but
we thought,
I thought I would.
we planned, when Mary set this date, we were like, perfect, it's after Saratoga, we're gonna have a ton of information to be able to educate everybody. We got nothing. So, maybe after Monday morning, we'll know more. We do hope, because, this is public safety, and that's scary. So,
Thank
Yeah.
you, Judge.
Yeah, we're all set.
Thank you.
all right,
Thank you, Brady.
all right,
Thank you.
wow.
You can't start the hearing till 6 o'clock, notice?
Bridget, you're gonna go relieve Eric.
I'm relieving Eric,
Eric should be here.
we're on-
He comes up, when the chief comes up, we'll need a brief executive session to discuss, police officers and names.
I'll just, no, you're
This also affects the
There.
police department.
All right, I'm gonna go relieve him and